Watching us live through Google Hangout with my Live with Libby show every week. Appreciate you joining and being here today. I'm actually broadcasting. This is my first remote Hangout broadcast. I'm actually on the University of Alabama, Huntsville, which is where I graduated from school in 1994. And I'm here today to share with the students in a graphics design class on the importance of using social media in business. So I'm going to be focused on the classroom today, not so much here on the Hangout itself, but I didn't want to miss this opportunity to share this information with my fans who've been following me here every week. So I'm going to actually turn my attention to the room. I'm going to turn off my camera, and I'm going to go into screen share mode here and pull up my presentation. Whoops. Let's get it in the right place here. And if you guys have any questions today at all during the Hangout, you can post them in the comment section below, right below the video, and I will address those later this afternoon. And I sure appreciate you joining. Okay. Hey guys, my name is Libby Webb. My husband and I actually own Newmarket Barbecue. I'm a local business owner here in the area, but I also graduated here from UAH in 1994 with an MIS degree, and have been using my degree in a lot of different ways over the last, gosh, I don't know how many years that's been, 20 years or something like that. It's been a long time. But I wanted to say thank you very much first, Rachel, for asking me to be here today. It's been it's just an honor. It's the first opportunity I've had to actually come back here to my alma mater and actually speak to anybody, so it's really cool to get to do that and actually share how I've been using technology to grow our business, and in terms of helping you guys see how maybe you can utilize the skills that you're learning here to put those to work in the marketplace. So one of the first things I want to tell you guys is I have something really fun that I'm going to do today, and I'm showing you by example. This is something that we do in our restaurant today. We actually have contests that we launch and host every week. Well, I'm going to actually give away something today. I'm going to be giving away 2 books. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Gary Vaynerchuk before. If you are marketing, if you know anything about marketing, this guy right here is like one of the top people in the social media world with respect to knowing what people react to. He's a local business owner himself from being a kid on up, and his very first book that he wrote, Crush It, is what inspired me personally to get involved in social media and using it in our business. So this is a very small book, but it's got lots of great content and information in it. I'm going to be giving that away today. If you guys would all do me a quick favor and write your name on a piece of paper, and just tear off, just a small little piece of paper, doesn't matter, just tear off a piece of paper, write your name on it. Elizabeth's going to put it in a bag for me. And then throughout today, as we have questions come up, for every question that's asked, I want you to write your name on a piece of paper and give it to Elizabeth. We're going at the end of the session today, I'm going to draw 2 winners for one of each of these books here, and as long as you're asking questions, and you'll get a bigger opportunity to win. So we got Crush It, and then Gary's latest book that just came out is called Jab, 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 Right Hook. This book is all about customer service, and it's all about give, give, give before you ask for the sale. So this is one of the best books out there on the market right now, talking about all of the different social media platforms and how to utilize them. So one of the things that Elizabeth and I spoke about yesterday was how you could use the different platforms, and to some degree, depending on your level of experience with social media, you may not have used some of the platforms out there. And Gary talks about probably 10 different ones in this book, which is pretty fun to actually dig in and really understand how to utilize them each differently, because they all have different clientele that come to them and use them. So if you guys will put your name in, and then again, as you ask questions today, we'll just write your name down. You can hold on to that, and then as anybody asks a question, just write your name down again. We're going to drop it in the bag. So throughout our little presentation here, the more questions you ask, the more opportunity you have to win. Okay? So that's part of the fun in using social media too, because people really love to win things. You probably see contests all the time in social media, and that's a strategy actually, because it actually encourages engagement and growth and connectivity. All right. So to get started, again, I graduated from UAH in '94. I actually spent 25 years in the manufacturing sector before my husband and I actually launched into entrepreneurship. We did work full-time for a number of years while working something on the side as an entrepreneur. In 2004, we launched a concession business. I don't know what it was about food, but we've always kind of been connected to food and had a passion for food, even though we both worked in the manufacturing sector for a number of years. So I've had, my personal experience has been mostly in program project management, and I spent the last 10 years in IT, mainly doing various forms of IT project management and that kind of thing. So kind of technically inclined, but also more at a higher level in terms of managing projects. And then in 2008, we actually had the opportunity to buy Newmarket Barbecue. We found out from a friend that my husband worked with at Boeing that it was available to purchase. And so we checked it out, and in 2008 we purchased it. And my husband at that time quit his full-time job and went to work, help run our restaurant while I continued to work full-time for a couple of years. But in 2010, I actually started working full-time in our restaurant. Right away, there was an opportunity in my community locally that I got involved with to help with a playground that was being built out in Newmarket in Sharon Johnston Park. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but it's a beautiful park, beautiful playground. It was built by the community. We raised a lot of money. Over $130,000 was raised, and we actually used a Facebook fan page to do that. We built a Facebook page, and it was how we got over we had over 2,000 fans by the time it was all said and done, and that's how we made people in the community aware of events we were having. That's how we raised money. That's how we got volunteers to come in and help do the build. So Facebook and various social platforms can be used for many different things, not just for business. It can be used, and you see it all the time, I'm sure, if you're using Facebook at all. You can see the groups and various things that are being used, created on Facebook for causes, various causes that maybe somebody may be raising money for. And in 2011, I actually turned my energy to the restaurant and really started focusing on, even though I had built our fan page in like 2008 or early 2009 timeframe, I really wasn't spending a lot of time there in terms of figuring out how to grow our business with it. And that's when I read Crush It. It was around that time frame that I read Crush It and really understood that I should be doing more with our fan page than what I had been doing. And, you know, at the heart for me, I'm just a servant of people. It just comes natural to me to serve others. Yes, ma'am?
I just got a quick question. So do you use your fan page as your main source of getting your information out there, or do you have a website, or both?
I have both. So the question was, do I use my fan page as the main source of getting attention to my restaurant, right? I actually use both. I have a website and a fan page, but I do primarily use Facebook to drive the traffic into the restaurant. My website is more of a place for static information more than it is dynamic, and my fan page is more of the dynamic source of information. Good question. But it is important to have it. So the next question is, you know, why is social media and business important? You know, the biggest thing is that's where people are. That is really where so many people are spending their time. You've got over 50% of the world's population is under 30. Okay, so in terms of technology, you know, what does that mean? You know, it's the number. Social media itself is the #1 activity on the web. You have a lot of people that spend more time looking down at their phone than they do looking up, actually talking to a person these days. Everybody's in a mobile device of some sort, whether it be an iPad, you know, an iPhone, or whatever it may be. So, really the big thing here that's important when it comes to business is that 90% or more of consumers trust recommendations from others, and those recommendations are seen and found via mobile devices these days. It's whether it be when you're checking in somewhere on Foursquare, or checking in on Facebook, or writing a review on Google, wherever it may be, you end up looking up and seeing what's close to you. There's several more, of course, that I could have put on here, but my husband and I were just out on the road a few days ago over in Guntersville, and we were trying to find somewhere to eat. And I always go to the review sites to find out the ratings on places, is what I use to actually find somewhere to go. So you even have social platforms within rating systems like Urban Spoon and Yelp, and all those are considered social media as well. So you have a lot of different things that qualify as social media. only 14% of people actually trust advertisements these days. I mean, more, and you probably can relate to that yourself. If you want to find a new dentist, you may post, you see it all the time, people will post right out on Facebook, hey, I need a new dentist, or I need a new this or a new that, who do you recommend? And you'll get lots of recommendations from your friends and family, and that's who people will end up going with 9 times out of 10. They'll go look online and look for reviews based on what people said, but that's going to be most people's starting point, is what someone told them. And I mean, the reality is, you know, you don't really have a choice as a business owner. I don't have a choice. If you're not using social media, you're really being left in the dark, and you're missing out on a big potential to grow your business. It's just the most active way to grow your following right now, whether it be a business or whether it be a cause or something that you're trying to raise awareness for. And traditional marketing really just isn't working like it used to. I mean, how many of you guys in here record things on a DVR at home? Show of hands? Just a few? So does that mean everybody else doesn't watch TV? I don't watch commercials, so when I do watch TV, it's usually from a DVR, and I fast forward through commercials. I mean, about the only time of the year that I even watch a commercial, maybe during the Super Bowl, and I think that's what is going on with most people. So to spend the thousands and thousands of dollars on TV commercials is a huge waste of money, in my opinion. I personally would never spend that kind of money as a small business owner for my restaurant to get visibility through TV. Now, radio is a different scenario because people are in their cars, and yes, a lot of people do listen to their phones, Pandora and this, that, and the other, but a lot of people still listen to the local radio stations because they love the local, you know, whether it be the local DJs, the local contests that they hold, all the different activities that they do on radio, so you still get a lot of attention from radio personally, and I actually use radio in our business. So even the news is actually being consumed on social media. It's amazing to me that people focus, that's where they get their news, and they feel like it's accurate. Most of the time it is, but sometimes it's not. So, but it's reality. It's what people are doing today. And purchasing decisions are being made and executed every single minute on Facebook. I mean, you know, excuse me, on social media, whether it be Pinterest, whether it be on Facebook. I mean, look at what people do, decisions that people make on Pinterest. They go out and figure out what kind of design they want to have in a bedroom or whatever. So from a graphics point of view, if you were a graphics artist that had services that you wanted to offer to someone, you could have your own Pinterest profile set up that had samples of your work. Okay, people love to share stuff on Pinterest. It's just crazy how you'd have your entire portfolio on social media, and you're going to get a lot more attention quicker than you will in any other way, in my opinion, based on my experience and what I've seen. So just be sure that you're exploring those opportunities, okay? I mean, reality is, you know, every 60 seconds, you know, emails, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of emails are sent. People are searching online for different things. People are viewing YouTube videos. You have all these different avenues and mediums of social media out there. It's not just what some people may think, whether it be Facebook or this or that. The bottom line is there's tons of communication going on all the time, and people are telling other people about, it could be you, it could be some other business or service out there that they love. People love to tell other people, hey man, check this place out. I just went over here and it was so good. You gotta try it out if you hadn't been there yet. I mean, we hear that stuff a lot in our restaurant. When we recognize someone as a new customer, we'll ask them, have you been here before? And sometimes they'll say, yeah, it's just been a while. And well, how long has it been since you've been here? And sometimes it's been 5, 6, 7 years, so they don't even know us as the new owners yet. Or it could be it's been a year or 2 or 3 since they've been in, and we've added some new things to the menu, so we'll kind of get reacquainted with them. But we'll ask, well, you know, especially if it's someone new, well, how did you hear about us? The top answer we get is someone told us about you. And then the second answer behind that, we saw you on Facebook. Those are the 2 things that we hear, and I pretty much don't hear anything else other than, like last week or week before, we had our health department rating of a 99, and we had several people say, well, we saw you on WHNT 19 for winning the Golden Spoon Award. I had a handful of those, which that's really cool. You know, there's one time TV works because it's the news. People are watching the news, but there's no I guess it's the good time to run commercials is during the news because people don't usually fast forward through that, or they don't record it, I should say. But anyway, the bottom line is you have to be there. It's just not a place that you can not be. And to your question earlier about a website versus Facebook, you know, as this diagram shows here, your website is your home base. It's where everything kind of launches from, for the most part, is where people come to, and then everything else drives back and forth between your website and your social media sites. Your website and, say, your email database list where you keep your database, and maybe like your PayPal where people process payments, and then you've got all the search engines. You know, the bottom line is what you do have to have a web presence on a site that you own. It's your property, because you don't own any social properties. Facebook owns it, Twitter owns it, Instagram owns it. They all own their properties, so you have to have your own website. But you need to have a presence in the other places as well. You can't not be there, is the bottom line, to get the most bang for your buck. So what I wanted to show you guys here is basically what our strategy has been in our restaurant. This is actually what we did. The backbone of what we did is called creating earned media. Okay, and what earned media is using your customers' word to grow your business. Okay, so what we did was we implemented what's called a fan review strategy. We implemented an application on our fan page that allowed our customers to write reviews about us. And when they write those reviews actually go viral. When I say go viral, it's not like a YouTube video goes viral, but it shares virally on Facebook. Let me state it differently. So when someone writes that review, it actually shares out on our page, which in turn goes out into all of our fans' timeline, at least those that see it. And the person who wrote the review, it actually goes out in their timeline. So there's more opportunity for people to see our name. And it's all about getting yourself out there in so many different places that people just kind of see you everywhere. They have this impression that you're everywhere. You know, whether it be on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Pinterest, you know, all the various platforms that people may be in. As long as you're there and you're producing content there and sharing stuff, you're going to be seen. Okay. If it's in the niche in the area that someone's looking for. Yes, ma'am.
You talked about giving rewards and stuff. Did you offer an incentive? Like, I know at my workplace we offer like $10 off or something for review, or is yours only like encouragement for those really positive customers?
I'll actually show you exactly what I do. I personally don't believe in that concept. The question was, and I'm going to repeat it here for my Google Hangout benefit, the question was, do we actually, it's like paying for reviews, do we offer an incentive to pay someone to write a review, or in some other way, an incentive? So yes is the answer to the question, but not with money, because that's almost like it's not real. What we do is we just encourage people to write a review as a part of our contest that we host every week. But I'll show you how we do that in just one moment. On the next slide over here, or two, I'm going to show you that. But there has been there is a study that you can actually go look at, that the Nielsen's Global Trust in Advertising report, and it may be a really good idea, Elizabeth, to I can shoot you the link to this to then share it out to the Student Advertising Federation, so everybody can kind of see in terms of. This was just released in the last like 3 or 4 months. There's been an updated study that just came out from the standpoint of hard data in terms of people trusting other people's word and recommendation. But it's a really great report. It has a lot of good information in there in terms of really understanding the power of advertising and the different forms of advertising and what people respond to. Okay, so but 9 out of 10 people do trust your recommendations. So that's the biggie here. Okay, so I want to kind of step back just a minute to show you how the strategy we implemented impacted our numbers. Okay, so in 2008 when we bought our restaurant, it did not have a website. It didn't have any online presence whatsoever. I'm sure whenever you go out and do a Google search, you find a place and it'll actually tell you to click to see the place within Google. Well, that's called a Google Places page. Well, as a business owner, we can actually claim that page, own it, update it, keep up with it, correspond with anyone who writes a review. Well, that had not even been done on our business yet. So there were so many things that needed to be done, and I just did them one at a time over the course of a few years. I didn't kill myself doing it. I just did a little bit at a time. But over the last 5.5, now almost 6 years, you go out and you Google barbecue in the Huntsville area, even though we're out in Newmarket, you're still going to find us because of the way I have our website keyword tagged, as well as things we have on our Facebook page, and because we just generate so much traffic online around the concept of barbecue, we're going to be found because of the content that's going out. So I worked overtime and established a website, which I just relaunched a new website, but I had built one quick and simple and dirty through Vistaprint initially, and it worked for the first 5.5 years or so. But right before Christmas, I just launched a new WordPress website. I just wanted something that was more flexible, that gave me the option to blog and do a lot more content creation than I had the option to do within Vistaprint. So now I have the ability to post recipes and create stuff that people want to share. And that's really the big thing, is creating that engaging content that people want to share. But anyway, we've established our profiles now on Google, on Facebook, on Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, Pinterest, you name it. We pretty much have it. I mean, I'm sure there's something out there I haven't touched yet, but these are the ones that I pretty much have focused on. And when we originally built our page, we pretty quickly got up to about 1,000 fans, but then it kind of stalled out around there. You know, it was just kind of hard to keep going after that. I just couldn't figure out how to keep people engaged on our page, and you know, just every now and again somebody would drop by and say something, but it just takes time to build unless you really know how to build it quickly. And I didn't at the time, and that's when I really started digging in 2011, 12, trying to learn as much as I could and find ways of doing it. And that's when I found the fan review application and had implemented that strategy and launched our contest. So our contest, you can see in the bottom right-hand corner here, is we give away a cake every week. It's simple. That's all we do. We give away a cake. We already were making a single cake. We make pies and banana pudding. That's our standard menu for desserts, but we started adding a dessert special. And about 3 or 4 weeks into making that dessert special, I decided, well, let me just give one away. And that was like my first idea to do a contest. So I did it 1 week, and it went over so well, I did it again the next week. I have been doing this now since August of 2012. Every week we've been giving away a cake. I haven't missed a single week other than the weeks when we're closed. So from the time frame that we started, which was August 2012, we had 2,100 fans on our page at that time. I had no email list whatsoever, and I don't know if you guys really understand that. As a business owner, the power of building your business is an email. You got to have an email address from someone to actually be able to correspond and communicate on an ongoing basis and build relationships with people. So if you have that email list, I'm sure you guys are on email lists for things that you know, stores you may frequent or places online that you shop that you really love to get updates and newsletters and information from. Well, that's really where it is in the business world. If you have that email address, you can correspond. In 2012, I didn't have the first email address from anyone. It was just not a part of the website I had built. I didn't really understand email marketing. It just, even though marketing kind of comes natural to me, I just didn't get that part of it at that time. And my focus was in so many different areas, I didn't really see the power of that at the time. So I launched my contest, and now fast forward 18 months or so later, we have over 14,300 fans on our page now, and I of course have run some ads along the way in Facebook to build that volume of fans to that number, but a lot of that's coming from the reviews that have now been generated. We have over 250 reviews now on our fan page. That doesn't count the Facebook. You know, when you go in somewhere and you can put the 5 stars, 4 stars on a business and you can search on Facebook and add them, that doesn't count those because those are not a part of this viral concept that I've got. This is a separate application, and actually you can see in the screenshot here where it says Real Fan Reviews. That is the application that I have installed. It's on a tab all by itself. So if you guys write down newmarketbbqreviews.com, you can actually go check that out and see what that looks like on your mobile device or on a computer. You'll see that it looks different. Okay. But I now also have over 900 people's emails on my email list. I'm still working on the concept of email marketing. It's not something that I've I haven't completely explored and learned everything I need to know, but I do reach out from time to time and let our customers know things by having that email list. Before, I totally was reliant upon sharing something on Facebook and hoping people saw it. And I'm sure if you guys see or hear much about Facebook, you see people are always changing stuff. Facebook is always changing the rules, if you will, or how things appear in your news feed. So we're used to maybe 1,000 of my fans would see something. Right now only a few hundred are seeing it. So it's important to have email because you have control of that messaging going out. And basically what we've been able to do over the last 18 months, because of having the fan review and having this contest and people being drawn to that every week and watching for our regular weekly posts on what cake we're giving away, and just the fact that we've got great food and good service, people come for the family feel of it all. It's not just about selling, or it's not just about giving away a cake every week. It's just how people feel when they walk in the door. And I'm sure you guys probably have your own favorites of places that you go to eat that make you feel at home when you walk in the door. I mean, that's important to me. I don't know about you. I don't like to re-frequent places that made me feel uncomfortable when I was there. That's just not how places I want to patronage if I don't feel like I'm at home when I walk in the door. It didn't always have to be that way, but I think you know what I mean. So we created a destination eatery, and an online community. That's really the biggest thing. The message that I want to get across to everybody here is that when it comes to using social media, you really have to build that community online and make people feel, like we've done, we make people feel online like they feel when they walk in the door. That's our intention and our plan, is that when they walk in the door of the restaurant and we say, hey, how are you doing today? Greet people with a smile and treat them above and beyond how we want to be treated. We actually do that. We transfer that to online. And you'll see some businesses and brands not doing that. You'll see them being someone online different than who they are in person. And to me, that's not being very authentic and genuine. To me, the best results come from you being authentically who you are and transfer that, to online. So let's see. So that's the biggest thing there for the restaurant. So I'm going to stop right here and ask, does anybody have any questions about the specific strategy? Yes, ma'am.
Well, it's about the contest again.
Yes. No, okay.
But it says earn 2 extra chances
Yep.
by writing a fan review. I mean, how many times are you allowed to write a review? Or, how do you know if they're not just...
Well, okay, so the way the platform works is they can write a review every week if they wanted to. And so I'm cool about them writing a review every week. So the question was, how many times can they write a review? Yeah, the contest rules that I have established are, and everybody's contest can be different. You can establish your own contest rules. So, for example, when we started today, my contest rules for you guys was 1 name in the hat, and for every question that you ask, write your name on a piece of paper, and you get your name in that bag again, and then we're going to draw for these books at the end. Same thing. So my contest is, you have to enter for 1, and when you enter, your email gets into my list. That's the first entry point. That's the only requirement that I have, is that you have to get on my email list, basically. You have to subscribe. And then to earn extra chances, then they can write a review. So I'm encouraging them to write that review, but I'm not paying them to do it. I'm not even saying they're going to win. They just earn the opportunity to win by getting extra names in the bucket. So every week they can do that.
Do you handle... I'm sorry.
That's okay. Go ahead.
Do you handle negative reviews, or have you experienced that yet? Or maybe a review where people were just nice and then put 5 stars just to get another entry?
Yeah, and you know what? Even that doesn't. Sometimes that might come across as a little irritating if they do that. But in the bottom line, for me, it creates more traffic and buzz online, so I don't sweat it. I really don't. I have not had the first person write a negative review in the 18 months we've been doing this. Most people are going to take the time to write something good. I have had an occurrence or two where someone's actually written me a private Facebook message and said, hey, we had this experience, or we had that, or I thought this about, say, the chicken today, and we're like, well, I'm sorry you felt that way. Come back next time and let me replace it, and we'll fix that for you. Thank you so much for telling me, because, if we don't know something's broken, you can't fix it. And as a business owner, it's like the worst thing is somebody to go online and slam you and you not even know you had an issue. So we've got great customers, and everybody actually, if they ever have a problem, will call or message us privately, and they've never written openly. I can't say that like in some of the other platforms, like I've seen something negative on Yelp, you know, but all you can do is respond to people professionally and graciously and ask them to come back and let you make it right. Whether they choose to do it or not is their choice. Everybody's got their own opinion when it comes to, say, food or anything else, but actually responding to people is extremely important. There's a lot of people that have reviews out there and they never respond to them, and you really have to. You have to really get involved. Y'all be sure to write your names down so, Elizabeth, you can get those and put them in the bag. All right, who's next?
I have a question. Do you have other contests outside of Facebook, like on your homepage? Because you said that your web page is the mothership of everything.
Right.
So did you focus your contests solely on Facebook, or do you put them on your website, on Pinterest, on Twitter? Do you have other ones in addition to this?
Right. So the question is, do I host my contest in other places outside of Facebook? Currently, I do not, but I should. Thank you so much for saying that. My website is new. The one I had before, I really didn't have the flexibility to do that with that page, but I do now, and that's something I need to start working on. I do have my email subscription to my contest, but it's not like this, so I do need to incorporate that and actually host it on my fan page, and on my website, and let everything else feed from there. So, yeah, good question. Rachel?
Is this somehow automated, or are you going through every week and tallying every single one of these?
I do have some. So the question is it automated? So I do have some ways of automating my contest. And depending on, sometimes I'll run just a timeline contest, like I have some cookbooks that I've given away recently, and I'll just share the picture of it and say, you know, like and comment, and I will pick it from there. So I do have some tools that I can use to actually pick the winners on those types of contests. When I do it this way, it is somewhat manual because I have to gather those review entries from my email list and just from here. So it is a little bit manual, but it only takes me about 15 to 20 minutes a week to do it, so it's not a major hassle or task. And it just, you know, I guess one of the other things too I want to say is that in the end, when it's all said and done, is we provide social proof. When someone comes in to pick their cake up, if you follow our fan page at all, you'll see pictures every week of the cake winner coming in with their picture. We'll get a picture of them with the cake. So we always post that social proof back to the world to let them know, hey, we in fact did give away something. Because there's people out there that run contests that don't really give stuff away, or they're doing it inside their business and, you know, giving it back to someone inside the business. I mean, I've seen those kinds of things going on, and that's really sad because it defeats the purpose of something like this to begin with. So being honest and authentic is important in all forms of advertising, period. You want to actually, you know, be on the up and up, because that never pays to be dishonest. Yes, ma'am.
I actually have a couple of questions. First, how long does it take for you to address all the different areas that you have where you're putting your name out there? I mean, that seems like a full-time job in and of itself, and then you're running the restaurant as well. The other question is about the cakes that you're giving away. I know you said that you guys only do pies and banana pudding. So, I mean, where are you getting your cakes? Are they homemade?
Oh, no, everything's homemade, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
And since it is a draw, how come you're not using it in your restaurant?
Well, we do actually. So I probably didn't explain that very well. So the question was, why don't we use our cakes in the restaurant? So we normally, up to that time, had only been serving pies and banana pudding. Then I had added those cakes, but I was only making them to sell, and that's when I got the idea to start giving them away. But I've doubled my cake sales since I started doing a cake giveaway. So every week now I make twice as much as I made before, because now we sell out every weekend. I mean, pretty much there isn't anything left. When we close on Sunday, and we're only open 3 days a week, guys. I didn't even mention that. We're just open Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We are truly a destination eatery because we're located out in Northeast Madison County. We're not right here in Huntsville City proper. People have to drive to come eat with us. We're just not like right out here on University Drive or anything. You have to take from right here about 25 minutes to get out to my place. So, but it's worth it. It's a beautiful drive, and it's a great place to eat and a great place to sit down and have a good meal and commune with friends and family. You know, we got a great picnic area, and we've got a screened-in porch and that kind of thing. So it's just all about the environment. So now your first question, ask me that again.
I mean, with the different avenues.
Oh, how much time?
I'm sorry?
You said how much time? How much time does it take for me to manage all these different social platforms? Well, one of the things that I do, and it kind of goes against a little bit of what Gary teaches in his latest book, but right now, because my time is stretched a little bit thin because I'm trying to do a couple of different things, I actually use Instagram as my starting point, and I post to Instagram, which then shares to Facebook, Twitter, Foursquare, and my Tumblr page all at the same time. So I do some leveraging of my time in that way, and that I try to do one thing and it hits maybe 4 or 5 other places at the same time. It's not ideal in terms of how Gary Vee recommends how to use those different platforms, but our Instagram gets a lot of attention. We get a lot of likes and comments and stuff on our posts. I just wish they would integrate sharing inside of Instagram. There's Insta Repost is an app out there that you can use to repost stuff on Instagram, but right now Instagram doesn't allow you to share. You just comment and like. So, but it gets a lot of attention. Let me grab this one right back here before we come back. Does that answer your question? I mean,
Yes.
I juggle things pretty much. I mean, it's not easy, and yes, it can be a full-time job at times, and that's why a lot of people end up outsourcing this aspect of their business. I'm just a marketing kind of person, and it came natural to me, so I really took ownership of this inside of our restaurant as my piece of the business. But there are times I wished I had help because there are other things I want to do, and it is a little bit time-consuming. But it's a very important aspect of my business that I can't let go because we've built something here that has to be sustained, and you have to keep it up. Because it really has helped grow our business, as you can see in the numbers. I never did even get to the point there that our revenue is up 40%. I didn't even say that. It's right there. I don't know if you read it. But from 2008, when we took over, to today, it's 40% higher. And I completely attribute it to, one, quality of service and food. Because, I mean, we've made our own improvements in that area compared to what it was when we bought it. But biggest thing behind it is social media. And having our customers help us grow our business and creating that viral word of mouth and telling others. So social media is huge. I mean, really, it really is. Yes, ma'am.
You mentioned that this takes a lot of time, but how often do you actually shoot that email out, or how often are you actually updating these posts on Facebook?
Okay. So how often am I updating Facebook or sending out my email?
Two different things that
right.
Facebook, but I say this because I signed up like at stores and received 4 emails before I got home.
Right.
From the store.
Right.
I was wondering how often do you send out that email?
Yeah, and those types of situations where you sign up on an email list and then before you get home you got 4 emails in your inbox, those are called autoresponders. That means they have it all set up, ready to go. Every time someone, like even my contest, you enter my cake contest and you're going to get an immediate response back from me that says, thank you for entering my contest. Be sure to go over and write a review to earn 2 more chances. I hit you up a couple different times to be sure you know that you can earn some extra chances to write a review by writing a review. So I spend on the weekends when we're open, my page is more managed more frequently than Monday through Thursday when we're not open. I do post a couple of times a day throughout the early part of the week, but on the weekends I can post anywhere from 5 to 10 times throughout that day. And it's mostly photos, because when it comes to restaurants and food, photos really help. Especially if you've got good looking pictures. If your pictures aren't great, get better taking good pictures, because I mean the invention of the iPhone and me buying one was the biggest difference for me in my social media. Our numbers went through the roof when I started posting pictures from my phone. And being able to be on the fly with my social media and being mobile. I mean, that's the other thing, is being mobile responsive, in that everything that you drive traffic to, be sure people can actually see it and read it. And as graphics designers, you may at some point work with a company that designs websites, that designs landing pages where you would land to enter a contest. Well, the very first thing you should do to test it is get your phone out and go to that link, and can you see it? Can you read it? Can you enter your name in that box? I mean, I get so frustrated when I go to something on my phone and it's so small, I have to blow it up. And I mean, how fast, how many times, I mean, right here in this room, how many times have you gone to a page like that on your phone, you really needed to do something, but you got aggravated and you just shut it down and you didn't go do what you wanted to do. Maybe you were going to buy something. Right? I mean, do you ever buy anything from your mobile device? I do. I've bought stuff through my mobile phone. And I've actually gone away from that page and didn't stay there because I couldn't read. It was so small. So as graphics people, y'all be sure that you're looking at that from that perspective. Be the consumer side of things. I got one more right here, and I'll come back to you. But be the consumer side as well when you're doing your work to be sure that people can, in fact, read what you're doing, because it's really important to wear that hat as a consumer, because you're one yourself. Yes, ma'am.
Being a restaurant, do you also work with your chefs to bring in specials and different, contests and promotions about main course stuff, or do you stick to mainly just this so that people know what's coming up,
Well, so the question is, do we work with our chefs when we don't really have chefs? But that's, my husband would love to be considered a chef. He's a pit master is what we call him. And our menu is really so simple. But it's a great question, because do we use our other menu items to come up with specials and to use for contests and stuff? My husband's been on me for months to do something different other than the cake. So I've been a bit distracted, but I'm trying to refocus more in this area and try to build things back at a level that we can create some rotation with. And we actually have some things we rotate every week anyway, so I just need to start using those as opportunities, and I haven't even thought of doing it as a contest. So again, great question. Thank you. I might not remember this later, so that's why I'm glad I'm recording it, so I can come back to this. Let's see. Yes, ma'am.
You mentioned a question about control, and that brought me to a point where we have to make it bigger. When you go to YouTube and Google, a lot of times you end up with a stupid commercial. And I just don't even want to be bothered, and I'll move. Do you have any control over that?
Yes, we do have the control over that, and that's called it's called ads. It's called monetizing your. So the question was, do we have control over ads showing up at the front end of a YouTube video? Yes, we do. That is called monetization. So as a business owner, one of the and that's why these videos that go viral on YouTube and stuff, all of them, of course, have commercials on them because people make money from it. People actually set out to make crazy, wacky things that are going to go viral so they can make money. It's all about the money when it comes to those really big ones like that. I haven't actually used YouTube as much as I should have by now for the restaurant. It's an area we're getting ready to start using because we're getting ready to start posting a lot more videos directly onto YouTube. So that's something I'll definitely keep in mind. I appreciate the feedback on that, because it does frustrate me too sometimes. Yeah.
I'm not that interested.
Yeah, if you wait just a few, it's only like 6 seconds, and then you can hit skip ad. So it's just a matter of waiting those first few seconds and skip. If you really want to see it, you can just skip the ad. Yes, ma'am.
Is that company that's controlling the ad, not YouTube?
No, the individual person that sets up the YouTube channel has control of the setting to have monetization turned on or turned off. Yeah, that's at each individual YouTube channel owner's discretion to have monetization turned on. But I mean, if you have a highly trafficked YouTube channel that's getting a lot of hits and a lot of views, you want to turn on monetization. It's a form of cash flow into your business. So it makes good business sense. Advertising is where people make their money, when it comes to making money, because they're seeing those ads on the front end of the video. Whether they actually click off and go do something with it, I'm not really sure what the numbers are on that. I've not really looked at it, but I've never explored YouTube advertising, for example, because that's where those numbers would probably be. Yes, ma'am.
So could you do YouTube ads as well as like make a commercial and then?
I could, yes. But like I said, I haven't explored that. I've not explored using YouTube for ads, and I'm not really sure how effective they are, but honestly they must be, because there certainly are a lot of them out there. So, all right, anybody else on this side of the room have any questions? No? All right.
I have one for you.
Yes, sir.
With your Facebook and your marketing, you're using this correction. I know your return on investment can measure it better than typical advertising. So can you basically pinpoint your radius from your restaurant and determine how many people come from that geographical radius and how to reach out further than that scope?
So the question is, do I have a way of tracking the people that are coming in and how far out I'm reaching right now, and then a way of reaching out even further to bring in more people? I really don't collect information today like every time somebody walks in. I don't really know unless I ask and then record it. how far people come from. But I do have people that do come from afar that ensure to tell me how far they've come. I mean, it really is funny how it works, because you have people that love to travel to eat. You have people that love to travel to go to arts and craft fairs and all different kinds of things that people love to travel and go and do. And mine just happens to be a restaurant, but we have a couple that comes to eat with us. They drive 90 miles one way, probably 2 to 3 times a month. They live down south of Birmingham. I have another couple that have been to eat with us now 3 times. They live in Knoxville. Okay, y'all know how far Knoxville is from here? It's like 4.5 hours or so, maybe 5, depending on what part of town you live in. We have people that drive from all around. Those people I know about, and then again those that come in that maybe live in Harvest and out in Tony, or I mean, it's really funny. People come in, sit down, and once we get their order and we get to talking to them, and we'll ask, well, where do you live? And we drove all the way out here from Huntsville. I'm like, okay, that's like 20 minutes, depending on what part of town you live in, that's not that far, and that's why I tell them the story about the people that drive 90 miles one way to come eat with us, and, so we drove all the way out here, because they feel like it's out in the boondocks, and it is a good little drive, but I do use Facebook advertising a good bit, and with Facebook ads, I can target people that live a certain distance. So right now, I target people that live within 50 miles of my location is what I do right now, but I can extend that out further if I wanted to. But that's my focus at this point, is to try it, because there's still so many people. I mean, how many people in here before I showed up today and before you read my bio ever heard of New Market Barbecue? So there's at least a few to a handful in here that had never heard of our place before. There's thousands of people in this town who never heard of New Market Barbecue before. So I'm just, I'm trying to be vigilant. That's why we use local radio advertising, and I still stick to the Facebook ads and target people here locally that like other pages here in town to be sure they know we exist. Yes, ma'am.
You mentioned that you use a lot of photography.
Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am.
What are your recommendations for companies that provide a service where pictures are not available?
Right, gotcha. So the question is, what other forms of media could you use to promote your business on Facebook if they weren't a food establishment like me and I have the easy thing with pictures? Yeah. So it's all about value. So whatever it is for that business that. So just for example, in my restaurant, I don't always just share about, and I can pull my page up here and show you guys some stuff, but I don't just share about food. We share about community projects. Matter of fact, I just posted something this morning about a community fundraising event. We're trying to raise money to replace the signs as you come in and out of New Market, because they're just really, really old. And the family that originally put them there was to in memory of their son who was killed in a car wreck when he was only 6 years old, right out there on Winchester Road. So, and he's one of our customers, and I had no idea until someone reached out to me and asked me to help promote this and raise money, and they told me the backstory, and it's like, he's one of my customers, I see him every week, I didn't even know that, so it was really, it just depends on your business, and, providing value and information that's relevant. So it could be articles, it could be slide shares out of, relevant SlideShare presentations out of SlideShare. I don't know if you guys have heard of SlideShare before, but it's like an online community. It's like a whole other way of doing social media. You can, matter of fact, I uploaded this presentation today into SlideShare. And it's a place where you can upload presentations of all different kinds, and it's another way to be found. So when you're doing things like social media or any other form of marketing of a business, you can actually post those kinds of things, because it's then content someone else can share. So maybe you don't know what you necessarily want to say that day, but there's something of value you can find that somebody else has written. Sharing other people's stuff is great. It's a great way of building your audience and just providing good, valuable content. So it could be, or so many different things. It really depends on the business, but just things of the value that niche or that page, whoever's following that page would find of value and service to them. I also share about lost dogs. I mean, it's another thing we do. People lose a dog in our area. It's maybe a customer. I'll share the photo of that. Those get tons of shares. I don't do it for that reason. We do it to help, but it continues to build a community around our business. Does that make sense? You guys understand that? Okay, cool. Yes, ma'am.
I drive by there probably once a week.
Okay.
Going to Swanee, Tennessee.
Yes, ma'am.
And my husband is probably a better customer than I am because I don't think he goes by there. Y'all are open certain days.
Yes, ma'am. Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
It's really funny because he's like, just really, we kind of chuckle about him because really definite about how he does things. We just love that.
Yeah.
But every time we've ever been there, something kind of funny has happened. Like one day we were there and there were a bunch of hunters. And
oh, yes.
Said, well, did you kill anything? And
yeah.
the guys said nothing but time.
Yeah.
I mean, it was classic.
Yeah.
And then we love to sit out in the little
picnic
area gazebo right by this creek.
Yes.
It's really pretty. So
yeah.
I mean, it's just you can share. I mean, funny things happen there.
Yeah.
The way you do things, it's really pleasant. There's a lot of character. You kind of know what you're going to get when you go there.
Yes, ma'am.
I think that's good. It's not like you go in there not knowing.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, and but we do have some people that walk in the door. It's funny, and they'll say, "This is it? Do you have anywhere else to sit?" They'll look back and they see our pit room where we smoke our meat, and they'll walk back over there and they'll look in. It's like, "You don't have anywhere to sit?" I'm like, "Yes, it's right here. We have 13 seats for you right here, and then we also have a pavilion out here that seats about 24 people." So, it is what it is. It's a takeout barbecue joint, but it absolutely is very cozy and comfortable. That's why we fell in love with it the first day we drove on the parking lot. I mean, we bought it that day in our hearts, but that was in 2007. We didn't actually get to execute the sale until 2008 after we'd sold our home and everything and could move from Gurley over to Newmarket. So, but yeah, I really appreciate your kind words. Thank you.
And I'll say one more thing too. When you walk in there, you can get off the floor clean.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
And that is amazing.
Yeah.
I mean,
Cleanliness is extremely important.
The randomness of y'all being open, it's like, oh, they're open. We should go.
and it's funny, and I have to laugh every time I hear people say that about our hours, but we bought this place. It was 13 years old when we bought it, so this year it'll be 19 years old. It has always been open Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And one year, 2010, we tried to be open more. We opened up on Thursdays, and we actually did great for about 4 or 5 months, and that was when they were building Buckhorn Middle School. And it was great because all the workers came down and ate with us on Thursdays. But even at dinner, it wasn't really all that busy. And by the time the fall hit November, it just really was so slow, it just wasn't worth us being open that extra day. So people have so gotten used to it. 19 years, it's a weekend destination. They know that's when we're open, but we still hear you're never open. But I don't know. The perception is when you're closed more days than you're open, that you're never open. I've heard that before from one of the guys on one of the foodies on TV, not Robert Irvine, but the other one. Hell's Kitchen guy, whatever his name is. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Gordon Ramsay. Yeah, Gordon Ramsay said that. So, I mean, I really took that to heart, but, it is what it is, and our location is what it is. But really, at the heart of it, we love our hours. We like them the way they are, and we don't really want to be open more than 3 days a week. It's a great lifestyle for the most part, and it affords us to be able to do other things outside of just working in our restaurant, and that's what we wanted when we bought it, excuse me. We actually were looking to open our own business with those kinds of hours. So when we found something that already had it, we were just jumping up and down. We couldn't believe it. I mean, seriously, it was like the Lord walked right in and said, "This is where you're going next," and showed it to us, and we walked right into it. I mean, it was amazing. It truly was one of those experiences that, we probably won't ever replicate again. I don't know, but it's pretty crazy. I know we're getting close on time here. Let me just go up. Go back one more slide here. I just want to kind of tell you from some points in terms of what I feel like are keys to what we've been able to do in terms of success here. Is the biggest thing is building community online around your brand, around your business or purpose, and build relationships with people. Just like, I'm sorry, ma'am, what's your name? Tippy. And what's your husband's name? Andy. So I'll try to, whenever you guys come in again, be sure that I get to meet you. Okay. Meet your husband so I can put that face with the name. But, we try really hard to remember people's names. I don't always do the best job at it because I'm really bad with that, but building those relationships with your customers, your clients, no matter what business you guys end up in, you're going to be serving people in whatever shape or form it is, and having that customer service mindset And that's what you're really going to get, whoever wins these books today. You're really going to get that from Gary Vee, because he feels the exact same way. So I connected with this guy originally, because it is all about customer service. Give your 100% best of everything that you do, no matter what it is, and you're going to always land a good career, a good job, start your own business. You're going to have clients lining out the door as long as you're always giving your best and treating people right. I mean, you just really will. And I really love the idea of using these Google Hangouts. I'm using them now in my new business and where I'm headed personally. I'm building my own personal brand right now to help others build web shows around like what I'm doing for myself. And I've considered actually starting one for the restaurant, but I'm not sure I've got the bandwidth to do it right now. So we're just going to do individual YouTube videos and work it that way instead of actually having a regular weekly schedule like I have for my fan page. But like today's session, I actually put it out on my fan page, created the page where I display my weekly show is actually on my Facebook page. So if you go to libby'sfanpage.com, that'll take you directly to my personal fan page here, so you guys can kind of peruse and check it out. But contests was really the biggest thing. Having an integrated approach where you can, have a contest where you're capturing people's reviews, where you do one thing, but yet it lets you knock down a bunch of other pins in the process, right? So I'm collecting people's emails. I'm getting reviews that help spread the word about us. I have other customers, customers that are telling other people, and they in turn win something of value that they are really enjoying because we hear about it later. People will actually come back that won the cake and write a review after. I didn't ask for it, but they'll come right in and say, man, that cake was great, shared it with this, that, and the other. So in that regard, you get more traffic that way. Let's see. And then partner with other businesses. This is a really great way. Ma'am, I'm sorry you have to leave, but thank you so much for your great questions. All righty, thanks for coming today. Partner with other businesses. You may have someone that, not a competitor, but view them as it's a great way to find people who can help you grow your business, but you're also going to help grow their business. So we often cross-promote other things going on in our community. So we partner with other businesses in that way. And then building that email list, and then encouraging your fans and customers and teaching them the behaviors that you want and need them to do for you to help you grow your social presence online. So that's the biggest thing we've done, is we actually have taught them to do what we've asked them to do along the way. I actually tell them on our fan page when I post stuff, do this, and then people go do it. I ask them actually to like, comment, and share, and people will like, comment, and share. You actually have to tell people what you want them to do. You tell them, they do it for the most part. So that's a really big important thing. Okay, so that's the gist of what I really wanted to share with you guys today. You can connect with me online on my website at libbyweb.com, and from there all of my social channels are across the top. And I'd love it if you had the opportunity to join me on one of my live weekly shows. I have a aromatherapist that's going to be on my show next week that we're going to be talking to. Every week it's somebody different. It just really depends on what I'm feeling like that week and who I've managed to book. But I have a great YouTube channel, so you can connect to my YouTube channel, see some of my other shows. This week's number 12. So there's 11 prior shows, and the one that number 11 is really great. If you guys are struggling in any way, have what I call mindset issues where you're like thinking negative about something, watch my show number 11 on YouTube. The guy that I did that show with, he's phenomenal. He's like a Tony Robbins, but better, I think. So anyway, anybody have any other questions before we kind of wrap up here and draw the winners?
I have a question about your hours. I know
Yes,
you said you thought about adding another day, and that didn't really work that well. I'm actually working with a local business, and they're going to add another day, but regardless, I wanted to ask about your hours on Sunday. I understand the Friday and Saturday, but closing at 4, did you ever think to expand that to like after church gets out, maybe?
Well, we originally, on Sundays, we were open till 6 originally. Yeah. And because of church, actually, is why we close earlier, because we normally close at 7. And we used to sit there almost by ourselves for those last 2 hours, 4 to 6. And we backed it up to 4 o'clock mainly for that reason, but secondly because we've decided that, we have to, as a restaurant owner, it's really hard on family relationships. You don't really get to connect with your family as much when you own a business like this, because you're you're tied up on the weekends, and when most people have day jobs Monday through Friday, when do they do stuff? On the weekends. So when we do stuff, it's during the week, everybody else is on the weekends. So we actually closed at 4 so we could commit Sunday nights to family dinner night with my siblings that live here in town. Is why we close at 4. And it really, I mean, we have people that walk in the door right up to 4, but sometimes we'll stick around after. Sometimes we're there for the last 30 minutes by ourselves. It really just depends on the weekend, but it seems to work, and most people know when we take call-in orders ahead, and people actually will come in and get stuff ahead of time. So it seems to work. But I'd love to chat with you after and hear a little bit more about how you're exploring that. I think if we did it today, added another day, and because I've grown our social media so much now, it would be more successful because I would have the platform already built now to get the word out better than I had in 2010. I had not really done the things I've done now, and it probably would be successful. And we do have customers asking us to be open more, but we'll reserve that for the next person that owns it besides us, because we like it the way it is, and the next person can explore that and work to do it, because they're going to own everything we have. So we're going to, one of these days when we hand off to the next person that gets to make this place their dream, they'll get the benefit of doing the things they love to do. And so it's going to be a lot of fun. It'd be fun one of these days to explore that with somebody else. Cool. Thanks. That's a great question. Anything else? All right. Yes, ma'am.
I've got a question. You mentioned the fact that the author Gary, I can't remember.
Gary Vaynerchuk.
Yes, his last name correctly. Wouldn't have necessarily advised your approach in terms of posting to Instagram and then sending it out. And I'm wondering, you also mentioned that when you started to create your online presence, you did it very slowly.
I did.
And I'm wondering if what your strategy was, if it was based on advice you got from Crush It, or based on the type of business you were, the fact that you didn't have one, a website or anything.
Right. Well, I did have my website up and running, I think, before I had my Facebook page up. So the question is, what was my strategy in terms of like starting with just Facebook? I actually also follow Mari Smith, who's another really big social media person, as well as several others, but she was the big one at the time that I was following besides Gary. And Gary was more coming from the perspective of having been in business for himself all those years, and he's a big YouTube guy. He's got a tremendous YouTube channel. But just know going in when you watch, there's going to be some profanity in there, because he's from New York, so he says what's on his mind. He's really great and straightforward. But I actually started with Facebook, and Mari's recommendation was pick one, get comfortable before you expand. And Facebook was just so comfortable for me, and that's where I started. And from there, then we explored Twitter. I haven't really focused on Twitter all that much. For the most part, I've actually just been pushing my Facebook stuff to Twitter, but I haven't been actively tweeting with people. My husband does that more than I do. Facebook's kind of my area and domain, and he handles kind of the Twitter side of things, but we haven't really focused on building up our Twitter following. And honestly, Huntsville's not really been all that social media savvy until the last couple of years. It's really starting to build. It's taken a lot of time, actually, for Huntsville to pick up where a lot of other cities, as high-tech as we are here, it really is surprising to me that we don't use Yelp as much here as other cities use Yelp, or what's the other one? I can see it off the tip of my tongue. I can't say it. Anyway, travelers use it more than anything when they're rating hotels. TripAdvisor, thank you. I could see the owl, but I couldn't think of the name. TripAdvisor, yeah, a lot of people use TripAdvisor, but Huntsville doesn't use it so much yet. So it's starting to come around. And between the Huntsville Visitor and Convention Bureau and oh my goodness, Our Valley Events. Larkin would kill me. I couldn't think of that. OurValleyEvents.com. If you want to know about anything going on in Huntsville, Our Valley Events, they know it. And they're really helping fuel the blogging and stuff that's going on here locally, and building up the social media activity going on here in Huntsville. Matter of fact, they're helping and partnering with the Chamber and hosting next month a whole social media event that lasts, I think, 1 or 2 days. I can't remember, and I'm actually going to be participating in that as well on the panel, helping answer questions and stuff, having been doing this for the last several years with my restaurants. So, awesome question. Did that answer your question?
Yes,
all right, good deal.
Oh,
go ahead.
Are
yeah.
you familiar with Marie Forleo?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you would be.
Yeah.
That's how I found out about Gary.
Okay, there you go. Yeah, she's sharp as a tack.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love her style. I
Yeah,
really do.
I thought you might.
Yeah.
I could see.
And I've just actually been introduced to her in the last 4 or 5 months. That's
Yeah.
Marie Forleo. Yeah. All right. Any other questions? All right. Well, I'm going to flip over here on the Google Hangout just real fast and unscreen share. And I have, y'all see the lovely face here down at the bottom. This is my really good friend Melody, who dialed in and was a part of the Hangout on the other side, so she can, let me get my camera back down here where people can see me, not the ceiling. Melody, thank you for joining today. And anybody else that's online, thank you so much. And I'm going to go ahead and end the broadcast, and we'll see you guys next week. Appreciate it.